SchuZ Views episode 14. I promise you, it's going to be a great one. You're not going to miss what I have to say about the All-NBA, All-Rookie, and All-Defensive team as I break them all down and talk all about that. Then, you're not going to miss what I have to say about Magic Johnson, what he said on First Take on Monday regarding all the crazy LA drama. Coaching update, you're not going to miss that because I go down so many different updates in the front office and coaching changes that address all different kinds of teams. You're not going to miss that part. Then I have the playoff update. You're not going to miss what I have to say about the Eastern and Western Conference playoffs. And then SchuZ Zone, fan favorite. You're not going to miss as I hit up so many topics regarding stuff that I promise you the media did not hit up enough, but I will. Then, how could I ever forget? Special guest Will Shaw, former Harlem Globetrotter A.K.A. Slick Willie, joins the show to talk about so many topics that you're not going to miss. Oh boy, it's a great episode. Sit down, stay tuned, and get ready. It's going to be a great one. Good morning, afternoon, or night. How's everyone doing? I am so blessed and excited to truly get down into business today as I've got a full show planned for you guys that I know you guys will all love. But before I go any further, I need to introduce myself. I'm your host, Zach Schumaker, and I'm in LA for the Adidas Gauntlet Tournament. And I'm excited and ready to give you guys a new view of this past week's basketball events. But stay tuned because after the first segment, former Harlem Globetrotters and St. John Star Will Shaw, also known as Slick Willie, joins the show to hit up so many topics that you're not going to want to miss. Trust me, it's a very great episode. But I've been waiting all week to say this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright everyone, so let's get right into this. I'm going to talk about this, all the NBA teams, the all-defensive teams, and the all-rookie teams. I talked about it last week and who I predicted would win and who would be in what. But I want to talk about this, what went down, who made the teams, the financial impacts, and so much more that I'd love to get into. Let's get into the very first thing. All NBA teams. Obviously the biggest award besides like MVP for a lot of players. All NBA first team. The first guard was James Harden. He finished with the 6th all-time All-NBA nod with 5 first team and 1 third team. He finished as the second highest ranked person behind Giannis Antetokounmpo. Before going any further though, I want to talk about in order of all of the All-NBA players and where they ranked in terms of votes. First was Giannis, then James Harden, which were both unanimous, then Steph Curry, Paul George, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin, LeBron, Rudy Gobert, and then Kemba Walker. That is what the top rankings were in terms of who got how many votes. Interestingly enough, Steph Curry had more votes than Paul George, but Paul George is the one representing the 3rd spot on the MVP list. Let's just say that. Alright? The other guard in the All-NBA first team is Steph Curry, getting his 6th all-time nod. Third all first team, second team, and 1 first team. Paul George and Giannis Antetokounmpo were your 2 forwards. As for Paul George, it was his 5th all-time with 1 first team and 4 thirds. Giannis Antetokounmpo. No one deserves it more than this right now. I love this guy. You guys know how much I love Giannis Antetokounmpo for so many reasons. But it's his 3rd all-time All-NBA nod. He's had 1 first team, which is his first team, and 2 seconds. But here's the crazy thing. Next summer, Giannis Antetokounmpo will absolutely destroy the max contract available. Giannis Antetokounmpo has a potential of earning a 5-year, $247.3 million contract, largest in league history. Let me break this down for you guys. In year 1 of that contract, he'd be making $42.6 million. Year 2 would be $46. Year 3, $49.5. Followed by year 4 of a $52.9 million. And then in year 5, he'll be able to pull in $56.3 million. Not including endorsements, not including a shoe deal. That is an insane amount of money. But if there's anyone else in the NBA that deserves it because of a young, uprising superstar that's already an MVP, if not the MVP, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. And here's there's one really debate thing between the first 2 teams, and that was the fact that Nikola Jokic did win over Joel Embiid. Jokic has had an incredible year, especially on postseason. But I don't include postseasons. I don't. But I'm going to take a quick side note. This past weekend First Take, Max Kellerman said something that a lot of people disagree with, but in my opinion, thinking about it, I actually did agree, which is not common. He said this, and I quote, that for all NBA and NBA nods, the playoffs must be accounted for. In my opinion, at first I was like, no. But think about this. Shouldn't they? Because as he said, it is one whole season. Regular season and postseason are all one. Now he said it in terms of James Harden should not have been All NBA first team. That may or may not be true in terms of talent and how they play in the postseason. I might put him at sixth out of the first team because there's five guys that take over him in terms of talent. In terms of talent and all, tell me I'm taking Giannis, I'm taking LeBron James, I'm taking Kevin Durant, I'm taking Kawhi Leonard, and I'm taking Steph Curry. All five of these guys are better than James Harden, and you can debate me, but there's no debate. Those are the five best players in the NBA. Davis could be the, but he didn't make the playoffs, so we'll give Harden the nod, of course, over there. LeBron's just different than Anthony Davis, and we're not going to debate that part. He's made many finals. Come on, no. But the point is, Nikola Jokic, first All NBA selection, 411 votes, only 36 more than Joel Embiid, which was the sixth highest vote getter. Joel Embiid, of course, is All NBA second team center, getting his second All NBA nod, second team. KD got his ninth All NBA nod with six first teams, and now his third second. Kawhi has now had two first and one second, with a total of three. Kyrie Irving, he has got his second one. One time he's been a second All NBA second, one time he's been All NBA third, which might be a little shocking. Because Kyrie, I thought everyone probably thinks he's been great for so long now. How does he only have two All NBA nods? Well, think about it. Injuries have piled up. He has not been in the right spot where he thrives, or he just doesn't have the right attitude. Kyrie Irving's a great player, but in my opinion, he is not All NBA second worthy. Russell Westbrook or Kemba Walker are more worthy. No, in fact, I even think Donovan Mitchell. So I'll get into the snubs in a little bit, but Donovan Mitchell is by far the biggest snub, without even a question. Damian Lillard, big time thing, and I couldn't be happy for what I'm about to say. He got his first All NBA nod. His first team. He has had one first team, two seconds, and a third. Damian Lillard is now also eligible for the Supermax. He can now sign a 4-year, $191 million contract this summer, which is absolutely incredible. It is not a guard I love more than Damian Lillard in the league, really. I mean, what he does is incredible, and it's his heart, his work ethic. Yes, he struggled this last playoff series, but he's still an incredible, phenomenal player. All-NBA third team, Russell Westbrook is eighth All-NBA nod, two first team, 5 seconds, and his first third. Kemba Walker has his first all-time All-NBA nod. It couldn't happen to a better person either. Absolutely love Kemba Walker. You guys know how I feel about him. Phenomenal person, phenomenal player. Now, Kemba's eligible to now sign a Supermax as well this summer. He can sign a 5-year, $221 million deal. Here's the crazy thing. If he signs with a new team, he can only get a 4-year, $141 million, which is an $80 million difference. $80 million. I'd be shocked if he leaves, folks. LeBron James, big time process. He's now tied Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the 15 all-time All-NBA nods. That's incredible when you think about it. Yeah, people give him slack. Even I have about this year. Of course, he didn't make the playoffs. Didn't go as well. Not even close to as well as the Lakers could have or should have done, but there were injuries, whatever. But I still wouldn't take away an All-NBA nod. It could be debated, sure. But you can't take it away because his numbers when he did play were still phenomenal, better than almost any other player. Was better for sure, better than top 15. That's not debatable. But 15 All-NBA nods. Do you realize how hard and challenging it is to be that dominant for 15 years? 15 years. He just snapped his 11-year streak on first team, which is absolutely insane. 11 years of being a top 5 player. I'm not sure how many guys will ever be able to say that. He's now had 12 first team All-NBA nods, 2 seconds, and 1 third. Blake Griffin, welcome back to the group. 5th All-NBA nods, 3 second teams, and 2 thirds. Rudy Gobert, maybe debatable Towns, and Towns lost out big time. But Rudy Gobert had got his second all-time nod. One time he's been a second time in a third year. Now I'm talking about some snubs. At the guard position, the biggest one, Donovan Mitchell. How do you not allow a young guy, just because he's young, he's honestly, in my opinion, he's Damian Lillard 2.0. He's a guy that will be underrated for years to come for no apparent reason, but he'll be dominating the league. Everyone loves him, but he just will not get the accolades as Damian Lillard now is getting. It took forever. Can we please give appreciation to Donovan? I don't care if he's on a big stage or not. Donovan Mitchell is a stud, a great person, a great human being, and he's led his team to the playoffs 2 straight years. What else can you say about that? I know a lot of people are Booker fans. He did not get snubbed. He did not. Was he a good player? Yes. But in my opinion, I do not take the fact if your team's bad or not as a downgrade. I only do it if your team is good as an upgrade to you. But if you're the worst team in the NBA or top three worst team, you can't be in there. That means nothing. Devin Booker, don't get me wrong, I love Booker. Booker's an incredible player. He's a superstar in the making. But don't make a big deal. He's not in the All-Star game. He doesn't get All-NBA nods. Stop complaining how about he makes the playoffs. If he could do what Donovan Mitchell's doing and leads in the playoffs, I'd rather have that than average 2 more points per game and a couple more rebounds per game. Way more. At a 9 spot difference, way more. 11 spot, it's ridiculous. D'Angelo Russell was also a bit of a snub. You could say that. He had a great year leading to the playoffs, but I'm okay with him not being on there. Bradley Beal, I hate not seeing him there. If he was on there, I would be completely fine with it. Because Bradley Beal absolutely destroyed this year. And like once again, that's when you use the excuse. If you have a losing record, it's not going to be held against you. But if you have a winning record, it's a boost to you. Which explains why someone else could make it in front of you. Klay Thompson, though. Clearly, Gabrielle Union was on his side. I don't know. Should he have made it? Would you take him? Did he have a better year than Russell Westbrook averaging a triple double, or Kemba Walker's 25 points per game in heroics? Then Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and there's no way Steph Curry, James Harden. So really, would he be able to be better than any of them season-wise? I don't think so. As for their forwards, it's a Spurs duo. DeMar DeRozan, Aldridge. I'm not sure which one DeRozan qualifies as guard or forward, but still. I think one Spur guy should have made it. They both were phenomenal this year, but it's the San Antonio way. I don't think they really care. At center, Karl-Anthony Towns. Here's something you guys want to know. Some other noteworthy things about money and financial-wise. Karl-Anthony Towns loses out on $32 million because he was not on being nod. He had that in different incentives. He lost out on $32 million. Klay Thompson lost out on $31 million in terms of his next contract. Because him and Klay Thompson and Bradley Beal are no longer eligible to be a Supermax player. They can be max, but no longer Supermax, which is a big difference. And in my opinion, that makes the move that Klay Thompson will be leaving the Golden State Warriors this summer even more likely. Because there's no enticement. Golden State can't really offer any more money than any other team can. So I believe Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson will not be in Golden State next year. They will extend Draymond Green, re-sign Boogie Cousins, or go after someone like Kawhi Leonard. I see that happening very well. And I'll say that back in my offseason preview coming up in a few weeks. As for Anthony Davis, good news, I guess. But by not making All-NBA selection, which is kind of crazy that someone of his caliber couldn't do it, but he didn't play, he still is eligible for the Supermax. Nothing changed because of his other accolades and his being a veteran and all. He now gets signed a $235.5 million deal with New Orleans this summer as an extension. It will be eliminated if he's traded this. If he gets traded, the Supermax is out of the window. He cannot get that money. So that might be enticement, but probably not. You're all defensive teams now. Marcus Smart from Boston and Eric Bledsoe were your two guards. Paul George, Giannis are your two forwards, and Rudy Gobert was your center. Rudy Gobert earned a $500,000 bonus that will also allow him to have a $25 million locked-in signing bonus, or signing for next season, in the 2019-20 season. I'm down. Miles Turner might have been able to get on there as well, but Rudy Gobert has been incredible. Giannis is my defensive player of the year. Paul George is the other best player, and Smart and Bledsoe are studs in the wing. I have learned that Middleton's this great of a defender. I don't know if it's been all year, but Middleton has been the best defender for Milwaukee by far this postseason. Jrue Holiday and Klay Thompson round out your two guards and second All-NBA defensive team, followed by Kawhi and Draymond, your two forwards, and Embiid at center. Now, Embiid was a great defensive player. I don't know why they couldn't run Turner at the power forward, but this is my opinion. I think Jalen Rose talked about this. Why do we really have positions in all, when it talks about all NBA teams, all-star games? There's not as positionless basketball. There's no positions in the game of basketball. Really? Guys can run power forward. It's ridiculous. Eliminate that and just put the five best players. Now, if we have five guys under 6'3", okay, there's a problem. But there's not. It can be very well balanced. And Miles Turner is definitely an all defensive player. He led the NBA in blocks. If you're saying that's not all defensive, then that's ridiculous. Get out of here. And Patrick Beverley, if he didn't earn your respect this postseason, that's a shame. Because in my opinion, he earned my respect in the beginning of the season, his defense, if you truly watch these Clippers all year long. Your own rookie team was Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., Marvin Bagley III, and DeAndre Ayton. You want to know what that was? That was your top five, folks. Your top five rookies. It's the first time that the top five picks in the NBA draft were your first team All-NBA since 1984 in which that draft class, the historic draft class, featured Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, Sam Bowie, and Sam Perkins. 5 superstar players. And I've been saying this draft class is special. Hopefully you guys believe me at some point. Your second team was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Colin Sexton, 2 studs, completely well deserved. I mean, the thing that something like Sexton, the year he had, could have been on All NBA first team is crazy. Landry Shamet, Kevin Huerter, debates could have definitely focused in terms of Mikal Bridges being leading the rookies and the Steelers falling into that category. A few other guys could have very well and very rightfully been in there. Rodion Caruso, to name a couple other ones. But these guys were phenomenal. Landry Shamet's no debate. He was a stud. Kevin Huerter still was a very good player. Him and Mikal are about equal in there. And then Mitchell Robinson, he is a special player, and you guys know my thoughts on him. So that is your All-NBA rookie team. That's all your top 3 rookie teams, All-NBA rookie, All-NBA defensive, and All-NBA period teams. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but just wait. Stay tuned because I got a lot more to get into this episode. Coming up next, you might know him by Slick Willie, but Will Shaw, the former Harlem Globetrotter, and the former St. John's star and current AAU coach in the Valley for Give and Go / AC Supreme, comes on next to talk about so many different topics that you're not going to want to miss. And I know that if you guys are tuning in, you're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. Coming up right after this. I'm so excited to be able to welcome former Harlem Globetrotter and St. John's player, along with current AAU coach Will Shaw A.K.A. Slick Willie. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
And not too bad myself. So first thing I just want to get into is kind of talking about this. So I don't know if you necessarily remember, but back when I was in 3rd grade, I know when I was at Fulton Elementary, I mean, you came over for a couple of things with Coach Roger and Reach Basketball to come help out. And I mean, that's something that it's crazy to think that a coach, someone I was looked up to back when I was younger, is now obviously someone that's actually in my life and impacting it.
Absolutely. It all comes full circle, doesn't it? Game of
no doubt.
It's a beautiful thing. I remember those days. I used to come to Raja camp reach program and always had a great time with the kids there, eager to learn. And I used to, put on some, show a little of my basketball wizardry. Good times.
No doubt. So let's talk about some of the basketball wizardry. So how would you say playing with the Globetrotters? Like, what were some of your favorite parts, some of your best memories?
Some of my best memories about playing with the Globetrotters was, creating positive memories for families all over the world. Having the opportunity to travel the world. I was blessed to travel to 81 countries. I've visited every state, United States of America, entertaining fans, creating those positive memories that last a lifetime. So, to be able to do that for 12 years, to have a positive memory in a family's life all over the world is a beautiful experience and a beautiful feeling as well.
No doubt. I mean, that's something I know. I went to my first Globetrotters game, and I think for my birthday, when I was like 9 or 10. I mean, that's something I'll never forget. I mean, it's different. I mean, because it's not, when you think of basketball, I mean, of course you think of college NBA, but then you go to the Globetrotters, something that's fun. It's completely different fan interaction. I mean, something almost like a play or something like that, but it's with basketball. So, I mean, everyone can relate to it.
Correct. Like you said, it's something that you remember forever. And that was the goal as of the organization, just to create memories, positive memories that last a lifetime. And like you said, it's different than the NBA or college. You got some of the greatest athletes in the world that play for the Globetrotters.
Absolutely. Were there any downsides ever playing with the Globetrotters?
It was a lot of travel time, especially in my earlier years. I was on the road about, I would say, 9 months out of the year.
Wow.
So, that could be strenuous. Just missing your family and missing, parts of your kids' lives, things of that nature.
So how did you first get on the Globetrotters? I mean, was it making connections, or was it just something where they came to you, or how did you first get involved with
I was playing in an all-star game out in Las Vegas, and, the Globetrotters came up to me at halftime, presented me the opportunity. Then after the game as well, we had another conversation. So when I left Las Vegas, the Globetrotters was actually playing in Madison Square Garden. So in Las Vegas, you had the owner, you had the head scout and the coach at the time who was in Las Vegas watching me play. And actually, Chad Grove at the time, you probably see him around out here in Arizona, was one of the recruiters. And so we met in Vegas, and the Globetrotters, I want to say 2 days later or the next day, was playing in New York. I actually was flying back to New York. So before I even went to my house, physically addressed where I was living in New York at the time, I stopped by Madison Square Garden, watched the Globetrotter game, met the owner at halftime. And so And then he offered me a 10-day contract. And I flew out to LA, and that was my first game ever playing with the Globetrotters. I never seen the Globetrotters play growing up. My first game ever was actually my first game ever seeing the Globetrotters play was actually my first game playing as a Globetrotter at the Staples Center. 17,000 people, just amazing atmosphere. Right then and there, I know I was getting myself a part of something that was very special.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. So then, I mean, talking more about the Globetrotters then, so I guess I didn't really know that part. So is it like almost like the NBA in terms of contracts where you have 10 days, you have a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year deal, or what is it like?
Correct. It was a year-to-year contract that you had to at the end of the year you have to go back in and sit down and but they do 10 days as well. But it's just every year you have to renew your contract. It's not like
Okay.
like the NBA or Major League where you sign 10-year deals.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how would you say, so when you first started playing basketball, when was it, what age were you, and how did you start coming into the game of basketball?
I was 6 years old. Grew up with a basketball court, right in my neighborhood, so it was very accessible. I just fell in love with the game at an early age. Every Saturday, I would just beg my grandmother to go outside. As soon as I wake up, I'm outside at the park. I was the first kid and was there all day. Then I'd probably go home, have some lunch, come back, and we just be in the park playing basketball. And I just fell in love with it at an early age.
Wow, that's awesome. So obviously you went to college at St. John's. What was your experience like, and what was stuff you learned from being at St. John's?
St. John's was a great experience, be able to play at Madison Square Garden, on a regular basis. That's my home court, playing for the home team, which is SJU and the Knicks at the time, or still to this day as well. It was just amazing, amazing experience.
Wow. So what were some of the best
Got it.
things or lessons you've learned from playing the game of basketball?
Some of the best things that I learned playing the game of basketball, all the things that teamwork, communication, hard work, being disciplined, um, integrity, patience. There's a lot of things that you could take away from the game. I think each individual take different things from it. But those are some of the things that I took from hard work, dedication. Those are the things that I took from the game, learned from the game, and to be successful not only in just sports but in life. Those are kind of the things that you kind of need.
Hmm. I mean, no doubt. I mean, that's something I know in sports, and especially in basketball. I mean, you get so many things that don't just benefit you in terms of a player or that, but benefits you off the court, not just in that current moment, but throughout the rest of life, dealing with adversity, dealing with so many different things that push you to learn different avenues of life. I mean, even if you don't continue playing basketball for the rest of your life.
Absolutely, because that's just life. Life in sports is all one. You're going to have in the game of basketball, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to be some days and months and games you're going to be at your best, and you're going to feel like you're the best in the world. And sometimes you're going to lose confidence, but you have to be patient. You have to be dedicated and just work hard. It's going to be ups and downs. Just continue to work on your craft and stay strong and during those times.
Absolutely. So if there's one thing you could specifically go back and learn or go back and relive and learn, what would it be?
If I could go back and relive and learn, you know what, Z? Everything happens for a reason, and you learn from everything, whether it's good, it's bad. And I don't think I would do anything over again,
Hmm.
to be honest with you. Everything happens for a reason. The mistakes I've made and the good choices I've made is just a better path I feel I could create for my kids, not to go down or, to be more successful. So
Hmm.
I'm happy the way everything turned out. I don't think I would read.
That's awesome. Was there anything like amazing, like one moment that truly, I mean, sticks out in your mind completely in terms of you love that was your highlight of your entire playing career that you want to go back and redo that part again?
Oh, yeah, a question like that. Yeah. Now, definitely, we was at UConn. My freshman year, I think I scored 26, and Dick Vitale, calling you a diaper dandy. Those things is, to this day, he still say that. And, those are, great times that, definitely if you want to relive a sports moment that you definitely enjoy.
No doubt. So obviously now you've moved on. Now you're coaching club, being with Give and Go, that's Easy Supreme and all. What would you say is one of your favorite parts about coaching club?
Able to teach the youth, to give back and share my knowledge of the game and experience to the young men that's want to you know, achieve in basketball.
Hmm. So what does it necessarily take to college level? I mean, especially brings a player from a high school level to a college level.
Preparation, integrity, dedication, hard work, and patience. Um, you have to be dedicated to the game of basketball. You have to want to work on your craft every single day. It really has to be your life to really get to the bad you want and how much work you want to put in to get to the next level.
Absolutely. So what would you say between playing as a what would you say separates a player from being a great high school player to a D1 to a top college kind of guy, overseas G League, and then to the NBA level?
From great high school player to Division 1, again, be able to play against a whole bunch of guys now like you. You may have been a man in your high school when you was in high school, but now you have seniors who've been in college, juniors, sophomore, upperclassmen that you're battling against or that you're going to be playing against. You know, so being able to adjust to that, whether you're going to continue to work on your craft, whether you're getting stronger and faster, and and continue to develop your game. So each level you have to continue to develop. And I guess going from college to the NBA, it'll be the same thing. Able to, continue to develop so you can play at the next level.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of kids that don't necessarily think it through always, that's when they see a lot of blockage. I mean, you're going to struggle. I mean, your first minutes going into high school, then going to college and the next level. I mean, it's always going to be a learning period. But a lot of people going with the attitude that they're going to dominate. They did dominate. And that's where a lot of time issues come out and occur with players.
Correct. Like you said, going into your freshman year is going to be totally opposite than, when you're going into your senior year. One, while you're done prepared for, you know what to expect. And every year you work on your craft and you got better. And basically just, staying dedicated to your craft. You got to want to get better. And as long as you stay, if you're a gym rat, and you stay in the gym and you continue to work on your craft, you'll be very successful in this game. You'll be able to achieve and accomplish the things that you
No
want
doubt.
to.
So who are some of the top young talents that you see out there? I mean, possibly middle school kids to high school kids.
I don't get a chance to watch a lot of, high school basketball, the way I would like to, just being a family, being a dad, I just kind of just coach AAU basketball, but there's a lot of talent out there. I'm a biased guy, I'm not biased, but, the young men that I coach, I really think they have a bright future, the Give and Go program, the kids that's on our team. But I really don't know too much of a lot of other talent out there, Zach. Name for really just call them out like
For
that.
sure. So would you say is St. John's your favorite college, or do you have a different college that you say would be your favorite?
I would say SJU, and of course, I just love the game of basketball, so I just want to see good games. Of course, I'm an SJU alum, but I love to see good games.
Do you have a favorite NBA team?
I don't. I don't have a favorite NBA team, but I do have. I'm more of a players guy. I like certain players in the league.
Who are some of those favorite players?
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson. Those are kind of my top guys.
Absolutely. Who do you think is going to win the finals?
The Warriors, KD, they holding it down. They holding the fort down, and KD's not there. So once KD gets back, it's going to be a scary sight out there.
That's something. I mean, in all honesty, I think right now with this team, even if they just get Boogie back, they're probably still going to win it. I mean, they don't lose with this team. I mean, it's insane.
So I think a lot of people got the Warriors penciled in, but again, it's the NBA. You got the best of the best out there, so nothing's kind of written in stone.
Now, obviously, a big free agency is going to come up, in which, my opinion, I truly think that this free agency is going to be the greatest one in NBA history, if not all of sports history. With some of the greatest players ever and a great draft class coming up. But let's start off with some of the top players of free agency. Where do you think Kevin Durant's going to be playing this next year?
Where do I think he's going to be playing, or where do I hope that he's going to be playing? Again,
Your senior was both.
I think New York. If that
Hmm.
New York is in the talk, I know there's been a lot of New York talk, but I say New York. That's why what I say.
Is that where you want him to play, or?
I do. I do.
Hmm.
Um, I think New York. I think Madison Square Garden. Again, me being from New York, the mecca of basketball. So I would love to see the Knicks have opportunity or have a player like KD. Hopefully, bring him back and put him on a map where we
Hmm.
need to be.
I mean, that's something. I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, if he can win a championship in New York, I mean, I don't think there's too much more recognition you could possibly get for leading that kind of team to the championship. My only thing is, I just
100%.
wonder is if he's able to push through it and be able to go through the James Dolan and the big media. I mean, not saying he can't handle it, but it is a whole other animal. I mean, it's even bigger than the Lakers, in my opinion, playing for a New York crowd
Oh
every
yeah,
night
for
with that
sure.
pressure. I mean, it's gonna be crazy.
And I think KD is built for that. Again, they got to get the right pieces around him. I would love to see KD and Kyrie out there. um, if the right pieces in place, I think it would be great. Because one thing I'll say about the New York Knicks fans, and you being a basketball fan and in tune with the game, the Knicks fans is dedicated. Through the losing season or not, it's going to be a great crowd there. So New York, I feel is past overdue for to have another superstar and to go on a nice little run.
Hmm. And that's my other thing is that in my opinion, I mean, I'm a Brooklyn fan, so I mean,
Hmm.
I think either way, if he goes to New York, I think he will be playing in the state of New York this next year. I mean,
Yes.
between Brooklyn and Knicks, I think. I mean, I don't think. I mean, Clippers would be a good place for him to fit in, but I just don't see him going to be continue to stack up the West for him when he could go to Eastern Conference. Has got a lot of respect now, but he could easily
Hmm.
still lead and at least go to the finals every year, at least compete. And with either one of those things,
Correct.
he could do it.
100%.
Hmm. So then Kawhi, he's the next big guy. So where do you think he's gonna go?
Kawhi. I really don't think he's going to leave. I
Hmm.
think Kawhi is going to stay. I think they had a nice run, but that's my opinion. Those my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think for
yeah.
him to leave would be not necessarily dumb, but like it's a team where you can clearly see that he can win. He can go to the, at least go to the championship. And if Golden State splits up with losing KD or Clay or whatever it might be, there's a very high chance that they will be champions of Toronto. I mean, they probably have the greatest fan base in terms of loud and in terms of the playoffs. So,
100%. 100%. Kawhi didn't play for a whole year. He came out this year, and what he's doing, with Toronto is amazing. Not only him by himself because it takes a team, not one man could do it, but he's definitely been a leader on the court. Leading by example, and he's not even 100%. I'm watching the game, and the guy's limping up the court. So
mm-hmm,
his heart is he's a champion.
mm-hmm. That's what I hope too. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, Siakam is going to be special in the next couple of years if he keeps developing with him. 'Cause, I mean, Kawhi, I mean, everyone thinks of him as maybe being a little older, but he's only like 27 years old. So you still have 3, 4, 5 really good years left in him.
For sure. 100%.
Hmm. So then one of your other favorite players is Kyrie. Where do you think he's going to go?
I, I I think he's going to go to New York. I think that's the hopefully we can seal those two guys, Kyrie and KD.
Hmm. No doubt. I mean, I just don't see he's going to stay in Boston at all. I mean, it's going to be. I just don't see it. It clearly didn't work out this year whatsoever.
No, he's not going to stay in Boston. There's a lot of turmoil there, and I don't think they exceeded the expectations anyway. I think everybody thought at least Boston would probably go for another Eastern Conference, especially if they held the fort down without Kyrie Irving and Hayward last year. So with adding those two pieces to the puzzle, we for sure probably would pencil them in for the Eastern Conference again
Hmm.
this year. That didn't work out well. So again, hopefully the Knicks could snatch him up. I'll be happy with that.
Hmm. I mean, I'm once again, I think he will be playing for a New York team. I mean, I don't think a D'Angelo Kyrie pairing would work out well. That's why I think best option would probably be the Knicks. But I think I don't see him going to Lakers whatsoever. I mean, people keep rumoring that, but that doesn't make sense to me in terms of Lonzo and all those guys already being there unless they pull off an Anthony Davis trade. But I mean, I see him going to one of the two New York teams.
Correct. Correct. I agree with that.
Hmm.
I would
So
like
in
that, being a New York guy.
so then the final guy we're going to talk about then is Klay Thompson. Where would you say would be the best place for him, and where do you want to see him at?
Um, that's a good question right there, Z. I really don't know what the best place would be for Clay. After him, Steph, that's like Batman and Robin,
Hmm.
So to go out there and see him be by himself, the best fit for him would be kind of, tough for me to say, but I would say he probably end up somewhere like in LA area. I would think he would probably want to go.
Hmm.
How about yourself?
I mean, that's something. Lakers, obviously, I think between the connection with his dad playing there, and of course,
Hmm.
you would be the dominant. Most likely, if they pull off an Anthony Davis trade or something else, you would be the second guy. But I mean, I think he'd have to wait to see where Davis falls. Because I don't think wherever he goes, he's not going to go to be the third man. He's at least going to go to be the second guy because if he wants to be the
Yeah,
third man, he'd stay in Golden State and win championships. So if they
100%.
get Anthony Davis, there's no way he's going to go to LA. But I mean, the best fit, in my opinion, would be somewhere like Milwaukee. I mean, pairing him up with Giannis would be insane. That kind of shooting with that freak.
Yeah, it will be a scary sight. It will be a
Hmm.
scary. So yeah, I'm excited. One to finish, the rest of the NBA season. Also to see how everything transpires on the off season as well. With these superstars head. You know,
Hmm. Absolutely. How would you say God has helped or guided your path the most so far throughout your basketball career or your coaching career now?
the whole way there. Without the man upstairs, none of this would be possible. None of the anything that you achieve in life, I feel, without the man upstairs is possible. So every day I give thanks and grateful for the opportunities that he presented and walked with me through the good, the bad times, and was always a supporter. The man upstairs, none of this is possible without him.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, it's truly been a blessing having you on today, Coach, and I can't wait to see what the path that God's continued to lay ahead for you. I know it's going to be something special, and you're welcome back anytime you like, Coach. God bless.
I appreciate it. Likewise, Z, I appreciate you having me on the show and continue to follow your dreams and admiration when it comes to the game of basketball. You're great at what you do. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach. Talk to you later.
I have a good one.
Oh boy. Magic Johnson went on first take and he spelled everything out that we all need to know that made me clarify everything and understand exactly what went down with the crazy situation in LA. Stay tuned. I'm going to say my thoughts and what I learned from this great interview that First Take had. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you guys heard about this. Magic Johnson went on First Take on Monday. And tell me that was not a treat. Wow. The thing is, he slammed a lot of front office people. A lot of people within the NBA. You want to know the crazy thing? No one can do anything about it. He's no longer part of the NBA. They cannot talk about other people like that. But with that being said, I want to get into it because everything he said makes so much sense, cleared up everything, and I have statements to say. I'm going to use quotes about what he said on First Take, so give props to First Take for this great, incredible interview and having him on, and Magic Johnson for spilling everything that he said. We're going to start with Rob Pelinka. He said this, and I quote, "If you're going to talk betrayal, it's only with Rob. I didn't like that Tim Harris was too involved in basketball. He's supposed to run the Lakers' business, but he was trying to come over to our side. Genie's got to stop that." So Rob Pelinka, he says right there, he betrayed him. He backstabbed him. He said that very specifically during First Take multiple times. Tim Harris, I'll get into that later, but clearly is a man that runs the business side. No one really thinks about that part because they think about general managing and coaching. That's the stuff you think about in the basketball part of the business idea. But business ideas, CEOs, all that, Tim Harris, they don't need to get involved. What are they supposed to do over there? And Jeannie Buss doesn't need to stop that if that's the case. She's a wonderful owner. I know her, respect her. She's a great person, but that is the case. The front office. Wow. This is what he's going to say about this. Things got going in the right direction. And I then start hearing, Magic, you're not working hard enough. Magic's not in the office enough. So people around the Lakers office was telling me Rob was saying things like this. And I don't like those things being said behind my back. I started getting calls from my friends outside of basketball saying those things now were said to them outside of basketball. That's not acceptable. If you're an organization, you must keep things as quiet as possible. And yes, you're the Lakers, so it's hard. But clearly there was stuff being leaked, and we knew that. I've said that multiple times. There's no way there's much data and as much alerts and crazy things about locker rooms and front office saying and this and that comes out as the Lakers have just had this past year without people leaking it. And it was unacceptable. That was one of the biggest things to the Lakers' success this year. It is hard enough playing for the Lakers. It is hard enough dealing with the injuries and adversity that the Lakers have faced this past season. Then you add in all this, it's ridiculous. Then he talks about Luke Walton, and he confirms the thing that we all thought and said. The straw that broke the camel's back was I wanted to fire Luke Walton. And we had 3 meetings. I showed her being Genie Bus, the things he did well and the things that he didn't do well. And I said, listen, we got to get a better coach. So the first day, well, let's think about it. Second day, okay, you can fire him. Then the next day, no, we should try to work it out. Once again, this is what Magic Johnson said on First Take on Monday. But, wow. I mean, you can't just go back and forth with someone. As a front office and business, these moves must be executive done as soon as possible on a right order and path. That cannot be happening. We knew Luke Walton was out. They had to get the job done, and it took a little while to do it. That's the final straw. That's why Magic Johnson left. Regarding Tim Harris and Tim, he wanted to keep him, being Luke Walton. Tim Harris wanted to keep Luke Walton because he was friends with Luke. And so when I looked up and said, wait a minute, I only really answered a Genie Bus. Now I got Tim involved, and I said, it's time for me to go. I got things happening that was being said behind my back, and I don't have the power that I thought, and I had to make the decisions, and I told them. When it's not fun for me, when I think that I don't have the big decision-making power, and I thought I had, then I gotta step aside. Clearly that's what he did, and I don't blame him. Let a man do the job if you hire him. I hate when I hear this. When people say the owner or someone else got involved for the job that you hired someone to do, let the man do his job. If you hired him, you have confidence to let that man do his job. As far as the Anthony Davis trade, we know about this. We know LeBron wanted Anthony Davis. I mean, who wouldn't? Yes, I have things against Anthony Davis in terms of the way he plays and how he didn't make the playoffs that often, but he's Anthony Davis. So here's what Magic Johnson had to say about that. I'm not a regretful guy. You're right. I offered a lot of guys, but you have to do that for a guy like Anthony Davis. Johnson said, he's a special player, and the guys that were going to be traded to the Pelicans are special as well. And I told Dell Demps, which is the former New Orleans general manager that was quickly fired right after the trade deadline in the lose-lose situation, but I think now it's discovered because listen to what Magic said. Let's just do it in private. What we offer, let's just keep it between us. Well, Dell didn't do that, so that's how it got out, right? I think that might have been why. I thought originally this was a lose-lose situation for the New Orleans Pelicans and Dell Demps. That was not fair to him. But if this is truly the case, wow. He was spilling the beans nonstop. You cannot be leaking information of the general manager. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're the one that should be wanting to keep everything quiet from everyone else leaking it. You're leaking information, absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Now, Magic Johnson, the young talent, which I agree with. I would say that I told Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, all the young guys, Lonzo Ball, if you're in the business long enough, your name is going to get mentioned in trades. Don't take it personally. So what happened? About the first week, they did take it personally. But I do give them credit. Brandon Ingram put together a 10-game stretch. He was unstoppable. The things that I thought he could do, he did those all in 10 games. I'm telling you, he said to Molly Quinn, this guy is special. And I agree. He got Kyrie Irving one night. He's on Kevin Durant another night. So you can play him on many different types of guys. He is special. Now he's healthy. I'm glad the surgery went well. I'm going to stop right there. I'm glad the surgery went well. As someone that's out of the organization, that can say whatever he wants and he doesn't really care, that's huge. Absolutely huge. That the surgery went well. Folks, I think we don't have to worry about Ingram's injury. I truly don't. But Brandon Ingram is very special. I said that. We saw him right prior to him being shut down, and it was special looking. It almost looked like a Kevin Durant rumor. Not saying he was, but he looked like it. He looked like the potential of the guy being the number 2 overall pick a few years back. And then Kyle Kuzma scored 29 points. Kyle Kuzma then went to Boston, scored 29 again. He then went to Philly, had 30 at halftime, finished with, I think, 40. He got himself together and started hooping and started playing basketball, and they all did. So I wouldn't change anything, because that's my job, is to make the Lakers better. It's true. Now, was that maybe a little bit exaggeration, because did he really do it? No. Yes, he triggered it, but that's not what truly set that into stone. But he did set those Lakers into stone, and we don't know what happened with Lonzo. He is special. He's a very good young player and our superstar. But I said, Phoenix and Chicago, watch out. Finally, they then had the introduction to Frank Vogel in his intro speech as the new head coach of the LA Lakers, in which LeBron James was in attendance to. I think LeBron improves Kid. I'm not sure exactly, but Pelinka said this. These things are surprising to hear and disheartening. They're just simply not true. I stand beside him. I stand with him as a colleague and a partner. I've always supported everything he's done and will continue to. It was a very well-mature response to Rob Pelinka. He can't say much, but I respect him for that. Because it's very hard to really say anything else about it. I mean, Rob Pelinka is great. He truly is. He's a Greek GM. I understand what he does. but there was issues. And as Magic Johnson all touched up in the show, Magic was only going to be here in Lakers for 3 years. He was grooming Pelinka to take over. Just Pelinka wanted it soon enough. So, what can I say? Moves have to be done, and Magic Johnson told everyone, and the entire world went down, and I couldn't be happy to hear about that. So thank you, Magic Johnson. That was an incredible segment put together by First Take. Coming up next, I'm going to give you guys an update about how I feel and what's going on across the front offices and coaching staffs this past week, as many teams have gone through crazy upshift and change that I cannot wait to get into. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. Alright, so 10 teams made big moves, minor moves, but then all in all, they made moves. And I want to hit them all up right now. Starting off with the Minnesota Timberwolves, I told you guys, and boy am I happy. The Minnesota Timberwolves officially have named their new head coach, Ryan Saunders. Multi-year deal, Wiggins, Towns, and many other young pieces were in Minnesota during the press conference and were interviewed, and they were ecstatic. They made the right move, and watch out, folks. Wiggins and Towns will have breakout years this upcoming season, and I promise you, all you guys that are doubting them, all that are hating on them, I believe that they will potentially be competing for bottom playoff spot in the NBA playoffs, because Wiggins will turn into his game to a whole other level. The game that maybe not the potential of Kobe Bryant, but back to the 20-plus points per game Andrew Wiggins. He will work his butt off this summer, and I promise you that. Karl St. Towns, he's already a superstar, but he'll become more unnoticed because his team will be a playoff team. They're going to draft a nice player in the lottery. Josh Okogie will continue to develop. Keita Bates-Diop will continue to develop. Dario Saric and Robert Covington is going to be big time. Not even including free agent signings, but this team is on the right move. They also signed former lead scout, the Brooklyn Nets, Gianluca Pascucci. That is going to be a great addition for them. He also man that found Williams Cruz for the Brooklyn Nets this last year. Lead scout, man, he's been great for Brooklyn Nets, obviously, and all these great things. Now, I am sad in a way that Brooklyn's losing so many people, but it shows that they have been extremely successful. But Brooklyn Nets did hire a new manager. Not much doesn't make the wrong thing. So I truly do believe that Jeff Peterson was the right hire. Jeff Peterson is now the assistant general manager of the Brooklyn Nets. He's been with Atlanta the past 7 years, became the assistant general manager for the past 3, and obviously left them to come to Brooklyn because he thought, it has to be a better option. Following that up, Washington Wizards, Tim O'Connelly, remember he had a meeting, Wizards offered him the job last week. He turned it down, folks. Turned down the Wizards job, which the Wizards are now forced to turn to Troy Weaver of Oklahoma City Thunder, former interim of New Orleans, Denny Fury, and current interim of the Washington Wizards, Tommy Shepard. We'll see what they make here, but they need to start making moves because they have a lot of stuff that didn't work to get done in Washington. New Orleans, on the other hand, they parted with David Booth, director of player personnel. David Griffin, they mutually parted ways, expect him to get a job soon. Portland Trailblazers extended Terry Stotts to a multi-year contract and extended general manager Neil O'Shea also through 2024. It's right. Terry Stotts is a great coach. He wasn't going to be let go potentially last year, but he made the right move. I don't believe they could have done a better job with this move right here. Neil O'Shea has been an incredible general manager, extremely underrated because, I don't know why. It's Portland, I guess, but he's been fabulous, absolutely outstanding. As for the Houston Rockets, they made big-time moves. They opened extension talks with Mike D'Antoni, but besides him, not much is left in Houston. Only people with a job safety guaranteed is, of course, Mike D'Antoni, but Brett Bunce and John Lucas is also safe. So, who's being let go? Basically everything. They've cleaned the entire roster staff. With that being said, they have lost video coordinator John Cho. They've lost all their assistant coaches, such as everyone, literally. And they've also lost video. They've lost video director. They've lost scouting. They're losing everyone. They're firing everyone purposely because they need to redo it. I think that this team is done. Houston Rockets are done. The window closed last year. They're going to have to find a way to trade Chris Paul, supposedly. Not necessarily talent-wise. Can Chris Paul still ball? Of course. I love Chris Paul. Did he lose some respect for how much he can play in this postseason? Maybe. But Chris Paul's a first ballot Hall of Fame player. Chris Paul's one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's an outstanding player. But in terms of money in Houston, I just don't think this team's going to work out. Not because Chris Paul and Harden and Capella's not a good big three, but there's not enough pieces. Tucker's been fabulous. They've been finding ways to do it. But let's go and say completely dispatches. It's going to be very hard to beat them. They're also getting older. As for the Memphis Grizzlies, they've now interviewed Adrian Griffin, a Toronto Raptors assistant coach, Nate Tibbetts, also an assistant coach for Portland, A lot of moves, a lot of things they're going to keep doing. They still are not even close to hiring the next head coach, but we'll see what goes down there. As for Miami, assistant coach Juwan Howard is now the Michigan head coach after agreeing a 5-year deal to replace John Beilein. Fabulous move. I couldn't be happier. As all the former Michigan players are saying, they've been reunited. All the past differences are now settled. Oklahoma City Thunder are expecting big changes from the assistant coaches. I think it should be head coaches as well, but as for assistant coaches, Mark Bryant is expected to go to the Phoenix Suns, and Bob Byer is getting interest from the Sacramento Kings. Phoenix Suns, if you guys haven't heard, is expected to hire one of the most experienced, best staffs, assistant staffs from Monty Williams. It's going to be incredible if they truly can pull this off. Lakers Frank Vogel said he's not worried about Kidd taking his job. Okay. But that's really a question that the media will continue to bring into their minds, bring into the mindset of the game. He will end up being fired. It's going to be hard to coexist with a guy knowing that he's going to probably take your spot or he's just trying to take your spot. Not in anything, yes, people are trying to take your spot. As we unfortunately heard of Gilbert Arenas in that ridiculous topic you got into this past week, sending the players to celebrate with the teammates and the great teammates. The point is, it's going to be very hard. Everyone's fighting for a job. If it's publicly stated that he's going to try taking a job, it's going to be hard to deal with that. A lot of stuff can keep going up and down with coaching, front office changes, and I'm excited to stay up to date and let you guys all know about it all the time. So stay tuned, everyone. Next thing I'm going to hit up is the NBA Conference Finals and how I perceive some of the players, both the good and the bad, and my breakdown on many different things on and off the court that revolved and it made the Conference Finals such a great Conference Finals. Stay tuned so you can find out what I have to say. Alright everyone, fan favorite SchuZ Zone's coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. There's tons of stuff I'm going to go down and hit up this past week. Some things that truly stuck out to me that the media should give more attention to. Truly the great things in our world and what athletes do for us. But others, I just want to talk about. So stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss it. Alright everyone, first part of SchuZ Zone. I know you guys don't like him. A lot of people slam him. Constantly slammed on social media. A lot of people say he's a bust. Some people say he's the biggest bust ever, which I think is ridiculous and absurd. But that is Andrew Wiggins. You guys might not like him on the court. But off the court, I hope everyone shows respect to him. Theoretically, it's on the court as well, though. Because what I found out now is the official number was submitted. Andrew Wiggins decided this past season to donate $22 to every point scored for underprivileged youth sports. Well, he contributed and put up 1,321 points in this past season, which contributes and adds up to $29,062. That's what Andrew Wiggins is now giving towards underprivileged youth sports. Right out of his own money. He gives a whole bunch of other donations, but that's big time. And if you can't applaud that, then that's ridiculous. Because that's huge. Next up, Memphis Grizzlies plan to draft John Morant, which will then result in them trading Mike Conley. Let the trade talks and rumors begin because Mike Conley is full hype and I'm all for it. You thought Jazz adding Mike Conley? Watch out. You don't want to see what Mike Conley put up with Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt is going to look like. Scary. There's a lot of teams. Could be the backup plan for the Knicks. Could be many things. But watch out because Mike Conley will be a huge trade piece that a lot of people are underrating right now. Harden and Chris Paul apparently got into a discussion and a big-time kind of disagreement, verbal exchange throughout the game about how much control and how much of the different ball handling, and ball distribution gets done throughout the Game 6 loss to Golden State Warriors. Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, both guys are ball-dominant stars. And yes, they're tense. They're upset that they're getting the butt kicked. What can I say, though? We'll see what happens. Supposedly, there might be a chance that they trade Chris Paul, but we will see. Next thing, Miles Bridges. You already have my respect for that player. You truly did. I knew you're special. I loved watching you. Mitch Kupchak made a heck of a decision with you. Corey Boswell talked about him a couple weeks ago. Great young player. But I just earn even more respect for this man. Listen to this tweet, folks. I didn't get... This is in regards to the all-rookie team. Because he didn't make first or second team even though he was a great player. I didn't get snubbed. I played like ass all year. I don't deserve to be on any team. But next year will be different. Well, what can I say? He said that word for word. That's his quote, and I couldn't agree more with him. I couldn't be happier. I wouldn't say he played horrible, but he still was not great. But most players make excuses. Most of them say I was hurt. Most of them say all this different stuff. A lot of people say that. But he said, I'm going to go in the gym and work, and it's going to be different, and I bet it will. I bet it will. Miles Bridges is going to be a breakout player, one of the core pieces of guys they could potentially build around in Charlotte. Chicago Bulls are reportedly intrigued by Lonzo's past first game. I agree. I've been saying this for a while. And Chicago will be the best fit. Phoenix would be a great fit. We'll see what happens. We'll see what moves LA makes. It's going to be interesting to see. Frank Ntilikina, the former 8th overall pick that was selected before the current Nick Dennis Smith Jr. by Dallas, is now welcoming a relocation, which basically means he's welcoming a trade from the New York Knicks. Knicks are only requiring a late to first round or early second round pick, and I'd take that for him. Ntilikina still has potential to be a good defender. He hasn't shown anything really, but we'll see what goes down. Philly's great bench player, James Ennis, and Dallas player Dwight Powell both opted out of their contract. Just want to hit that up. There are players starting to opt in, opt out of all different kinds of stuff, and they're one of them. Dwight Powell surprised me, though. He's going to get a little over $10 million this past year to be in the rotation for Dallas. We'll see what happens with him, though. Now, I need to hit up this. Kansas Jayhawks Silvio De Sousa is now eligible to play. Big win for Kansas Jayhawks. I'm excited to watch him. Missed not being able to watch him last past couple of years. Andre Iguodala also announced on Saturday that his career is almost over. It's coming to an end soon. Upsetting. He's an incredible player. I'm happy for him, of course. He deserves, whatever he wants. He's going to be a very borderline Hall of Fame player. Hope Willie's get another year, but he's been phenomenal. Great player. What he's done for the NBA on and off the court has been phenomenal and absolutely incredible. Kevin Durant has reportedly said that he's 100% undecided, according to his manager. 100% undecided. Do I 100% believe that? No. But do I think he's still got open doors? Yes, because just this week, Clippers have now emerged as a threat to sign Kevin Durant. I don't disagree. I said this is a great fit for him. I believe he will be playing in New York, though. And we'll see which team it lines on. But that's all I got for you guys on this week of SchuZ Zone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And next week, I can't wait to have even more topics that deserve way more attention. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today on SchuZ Views episode 14. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, because I most certainly did. Now, if you guys would like to stay tuned and see about a special release that I will be releasing in the coming week that you're not going to miss, and it might just happen to be a new show, Rising Arizona, but to see what it is, see what it's about, and what it's called, go follow me at Zach Schumaker on Twitter or Instagram, or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Zach Schumaker SchuZ Views, or my Facebook page, SchuZ Views Zach Schumaker. You're not going to want to miss it. Follow me, stay up to date. Please go do it. You're not going to miss what I have to say, especially in the upcoming weeks, and about potential updates and upcoming episodes, because big changes are happening for this big time summer. Also, go subscribe, give a 5-star comment, like, or whatever you have to do to continue to help SchuZ Views grow, depending on the platform that you're listening to. Also, voice messages are up and running. If you guys hear the ad in the beginning of the shows, you're not going to miss it. Send me a voice message, download, go on the website of Anchor, go check it out. Send me a question with your own voice that I will put in SchuZ Views. You're not going to miss it. I truly think you guys would love it. Also, with that being said, that's it for SchuZ Views episode 14. I'm so glad you guys could join me once again. I'm signing out from California. SchuZ is out. Don't forget to be the light, and God bless everyone. So I'm going to start off in the Western Conference. I've talked some about this, but Golden State vs. Portland was a sweep. Golden State won 4-0. Remember, there's no Kevin Durant, no Boogie. Iguodala went out for the last game. Injuries continue to pile up for these Warriors, and they still went and swept them. Yes, Damian was hurt. Yes, there were many excuses you could say. Damian made a comment, and I quote, he said, having Nurkic would have been different, referring to the fact that he thought they could still beat the Warriors if they had use of Nurkic. My opinion, I'm not sure. I really don't know. Yusuf Nurkic was a great player, incredible. Yes, he's better than any of the big men they had. But yeah, I think Myers Leonard stepped up in a 31. They still didn't win that game. Not sure how much more Nurkic could have done. Zach Collins played terrific off the bench. I love Terry Stotts, but I truly think he made a wrong decision by implementing and taking Enes Kanter completely out of the series, playing 7 and 6 minutes. He was dominating for them. Maybe sub Aminu or Harkless out, or maybe give them more minutes. I don't know, but I don't think that was the right move. But maybe because they won a game, Damian was 100% and Nurkic was there. Maybe. With that being said, though, I think this is still a very successful season for Portland. You can judge them however you want, but they made the conference finals. That's huge. They don't have anyone besides the two main guys this year, and they're superstars. They don't really have too many above average kind of players. Now, Obviously, they're happy enough, and the owner is very proud of them. And he extended, obviously, Terry Stotts to a multi-year extension, along with General Manager Neil O'Shea, that I talked about earlier, to 2024. Great moves. They've been phenomenal. Neil O'Shea's drafted and done superb things multiple times. With the way he finds assets, finds players, develops players, and keeps it going. Anthony Simon is going to be someone very good and very well to watch out for. They keep having more picks. Gary Trent was solid in that last game they played. Keep watching them. Guys like Jake Lehman keep showing up. But Golden State. This is the fifth straight NBA Finals, and they're on the way to getting a three-peat, winning 4 out of the last 5. That's incredible. I don't care how talented you are or how much you may buy your team or whatever. That is phenomenal and a stat that you can't take away from them. 4 out of the last 5 years they won a championship. That is incredible. Now, Steph Curry and Draymond Green in the final game would become the first teammates to get triple doubles in the same game in the playoffs in a single game in all of NBA history. It's absolutely phenomenal. Draymond Green, like I said before, he went from playing in the beginning of the summer, at the beginning of this season, talking about, I want Supermax, I'm going to get Supermax in Golden State. People were maybe debating it, saying, is it just a max or is it Supermax? Well, Draymond Green played a not very good season whatsoever. We weren't even considering a max contract. We were considering just we weren't really considering being part of the team at one point after the Kevin Durant fight. Well, I think he's now implemented himself to being the second or third best player in the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant and Boogie's not here. Well, we'll see how those guys implement. But Draymond's been key and the most crucial person and piece to this NBA team right now with those Warriors. I think he's been more important than Clay, more important than Steph Curry, more important than the great stuff that Iguodala's been doing. McKinney, I'll get into that a little bit about how great he's been. There's been a lot of stuff, but Draymond Green has been crucial, getting triple doubles, scoring, rebounding, assisting, and locking up a man, becoming the best defender. Nothing to deny that. He has, in my respect, 110%. Truly has. Now, also, reporting that that Kevin Durant is unlikely to play at the beginning of the NBA Finals. With that being said, as I said, he is not going to play. We're never going to see him in a Golden State jersey uniform ever again. It's going to be a great series, but you know who they're going to be playing? The Toronto Raptors, and I couldn't be happier. Toronto defeated Milwaukee 4-2, and this is going to be incredible. It's going to be an incredible series. Kawhi Leonard, hopefully against Kevin Durant, probably won't happen, but Kawhi probably being guarded by Klay Thompson, it's going to be phenomenal. Obviously, there's dilemma and drama about Drake. Are you kidding me? My opinion, Coach Bud is more than respected. He's more than in my respect. I love it. I think he's the top 3 coach in the NBA. He's my coach of the year. You guys know that. But in my opinion, you have to worry about winning games and stop worrying about the media. I know they might ask you that question, just ignore it. Do not worry about Drake. He's a super fan. Spike Lee was the very same way. A lot of people in LA. You got a lot of people in Brooklyn doing the same stuff. There's crazy celebrity fans. Let them be that. Now Drake might be the craziest, but who cares? His team's about to go to the NBA Finals. Of course he's going to be crazy. He broke the curse. If you cannot deny that and you cannot support that, then fine. Tell me that's not entertaining. And I don't think Giannis has a problem with it. But Coach Bud did say this. He said there's no place for fans, or whatever Drake is for the Raptors, on the court or in the series. Giannis' rep also ripped into him, which all I care about, Giannis isn't saying anything, because Giannis doesn't care. Giannis is working his butt off, and I guarantee he's already in the gym working. As we speak, and as you listen to this, he's in the gym working, grinding out. Plain and simple. Also, Giannis Antetokounmpo walked out of the press conference the last series. So they lost. Not surprising. They're asking a lot of different questions. He was upset and wanted to get done with it. No problem with it. He shot 11 for 31, which is 35.5% when Kawhi Leonard was guarding him. It was in 131 possessions. He also only had 4 assists all series when Kawhi Leonard guarded him. Alongside with him, he had 5 turnovers. He had less than an assist to turnover ratio when Kawhi Leonard guarded him. And that's something that I even said. I truly do admit. I said Giannis Antetokounmpo is unguardable. I said the only guy that could contend with him is maybe Anthony Davis, maybe Kevin Durant, maybe Mitchell Robinson in the future, just because of the length and the height, because Embiid's not fast enough. But Kawhi Leonard is the only guy I've seen him come close to guarding him. And he's not only guarded him, he's locked him up and won a series against Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not saying can Giannis not change that? No, and he will work his butt off and he's going to get a 3-point shot and dominate. Giannis also only shot 7 shots. He only made 7 shots outside of the restricted area. 7 for 36, which is 19%. That's incredible. That's ridiculous. He was 65% though when he shot from 1 to 3 inside the paint. 1 to 3 feet away. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still a beast. He's still a monster. He's still a top 3 player. Don't get me wrong. But you have to respect Kawhi Leonard and give him all the props in the entire world because Kawhi Leonard is special. Kawhi Leonard. If you do not have Kawhi Leonard in your top 5, this is absolutely disrespectful and absurd. Absolutely ludicrous. You have to have Kawhi Leonard as a top five player. There's no way to dispute that. He's the NBA Eastern Conference champion that's defeated Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's absolutely demolished and destroyed this NBA playoffs. Been the best player in the playoffs by far, no question, no doubt. Nothing to dispute about that. Kevin Durant could have been that, but he obviously missed a lot. Kawhi Leonard earned my respect, and he's a superstar in this game, and we need to show you respect no matter what. Kawhi Leonard is incredible. He's a monster. Last thing I hit about the series, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, because he reached the finals, he's now got a $500,000 signing bonus he added on, which makes his cap hit to $25 million for this season over the luxury limit. Now, if he wins the NBA Finals, he gets another $500K. That's probably not expected. I still have the Warriors winning it, but this should be a great series. I cannot wait to see what Kawhi Leonard has in store for us in this NBA Finals. Kawhi Leonard is the truth, and he will be a Hall of Fame first ballot player and a superstar and MVP for years to come.